Okay, we're recording.
Okay, I'll call the April 4th, 2024 Special Planning Commission meeting to order. Ms. Rambo, would you please call the roll?
Jake Castile. Here. Jim Jackson.
Here.
Kate McQuarrie.
Here.
David Miller.
Here.
Steve Pajali.
Here.
Connor Whalen. Mike Zuloff.
Here.
Okay, thank you. The next and only item on the agenda for this evening is a public hearing for 416 Warren Street. And I'll call on Mr. Oakes. Do you want to give us your report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is for a zone map amendment at 416 Warren Street. The applicant is proposing to change the existing zoning, which is CS Commercial Service, to RMF Residential Multifamily. The surrounding zoning to the north is both commercial service and two-family residential. To the east is two-family residential. To the south is commercial service. To the west is commercial service. The structure has historically been a two-family unit, but was altered by the previous owner to a one-unit, according to the applicant. The applicant is proposing to convert the structure from the one-unit to a six-unit residential for the purpose of long-term rentals. To do so, a zoning change must take place. The current zoning commercial service district limits this to only 2 residential units. Rezoning applications by staff are evaluated based on the current and desired land use of the applicant and the broader perspective of whether the zoning change makes sense for the expected future land use of the site and also the surrounding parcels. The existing parcel is about 1 block away from an existing multifamily residential zoning district. The 400-block commercial section of Warren Street is surrounded by residential uses currently. Staff has determined that changing to the multifamily residential zoning is appropriate and in harmony with the comprehensive plan. The residential use is also in harmony with the surrounding zoning districts to the north, south, and west. The multifamily residential zone is more restrictive to what is currently permissible and more appropriate in context of the residential neighborhoods, as commercial uses allow some light industrial grade uses. As an example, the uses that are currently permitted here are manufactured of durable goods, metal finishing, assembly and fabrication of machine tools, boat building, yards for storage in coal and lumber and other building materials, just to name a few. Lack of available housing units in Sandusky has identified a strong need for more residential units of all types, and this project will increase the supply. The bicentennial comprehensive plan was analyzed and reviewed by staff, and there are a couple of key points that would fit this application, and that is both the central district. It is noted in the comprehensive plan that it's to preserve historic and intact housing stock and maintain a quality of life within the neighborhood, and also to strengthen neighborhoods, enhance amenities and connections to downtown. Based on staff's examination, this rezoning could offer great potential towards increasing the quality of life, preserving an existing historic building, and helping to shape Sandusky as a livable city. The parcel meets all area and yard requirements as proposed. The applicant has submitted a site plan application for the project. Should the rezoning move forward as regularly scheduled, the site plan application will be on the Planning Commission agenda for May's regularly scheduled meeting. Other departments reviewed this application. There were no objections or concern by any of the other departments. Based on all of this, staff recommends approval of the proposed zoning map amendment at 416 Warren Street with the following conditions, and that's that all applicable permits are obtained through the Building Department, Engineering Department, Division of Planning, and any other applicable agency prior to any zoning change and construction. Thank you.
Ms. Blair, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I'll just reiterate that the site plan, if the zoning goes through, then we'll bring the site plan for May. So we included some screenshots of the site plan and the floor plans in this application. That was just for background information so you could see that the applicant has put in due diligence on the project. But we're just reviewing this based on if the multifamily use is appropriate at this location.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I just want to make a comment to staff. When and if the site plan does come to the commission, I already requested if we could please have a larger font on the site plan because I can't read it, which I understand it's not a priority right now, but I will just ask whether it's email or on the actual printouts that font be larger for the actual site plan application.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr.
you know, I wasn't able to actually, I didn't realize the importance of the proposed alterations. I'm going to guess that the PDF is zoomable and would actually be legible. That's been an issue in the past. We no longer require full-size prints, and it wouldn't be required anyway because this is about the usage, right?
For this particular.
Would it be safe to say that if I consulted the PDF, I'd be able to zoom in and read these letters and numbers?
Could you?
I could read them on my screen, yes, but I understand the printout probably is not legible at that size. We didn't include the full-size site plan since it's not a site plan application.
Yeah, of course. Okay,
That's why I
thank you.
said email or.
I did, along that vein, I was looking for square footage on these units. Are these all over 400?
Here, Mike.
They are, 486 is the smallest one.
Thank you.
484.
484, thank you. You could read
I
them.
have them all, yeah. 663, 501, 502, 663, 483, and 484.
Thank you.
Yeah, they were difficult to see, but I was able to make out what the square footage was, so. Mr. Hampton, would you like to come up and address the commission, add anything to what's been discussed already, or what's been the overview? Please state your name and address for the record.
So Jamarcus Hampton, I really don't have much to add. I think this neighborhood is a place where I grew up on, and this house is, it's been vacant for probably 10 or 15 years. So as part of, the strategy, they're doing the roads down there, and I own the beauty salon next door. Obviously, we want to try to create this space and make it more livable. And obviously, as a part of the plans that they're implementing in regards to the roads and the other construction in that particular area. So I'm here. This is I don't know exactly how this works. So Aaron was like, hey, just show up. And so I'm here, and I have any questions. If you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to elaborate and answer your questions. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Hampton? Mr. Miller?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I'm excited about the prospect of nice new, smaller units would hopefully be affordable to, I think of people like my daughter or whatever that are looking for apartments, and affordability is kind of an issue for her demographic. And as I looked at it, it looks like there's some substantial investment going to be required to turn that, particularly at the end where it's only a one-story into a two-story that has two different units in it. I mean, you say that place has been vacant for like 10 years. This is like from the ground up rebuild of at least a third of the building, right? I mean.
No, not necessarily. It's not structurally, it's pretty much in good shape. We've demoed, I would say, 90% of it already. Thank God I had my contact in Aaron, because we were moving forward with the project until I had a conversation and we had to pump our brakes a little bit. But no, structurally it's fine. There would be a new addition towards the back, and so keep in mind. So my goal is to do either a 4 or 6 unit. Again, it depends on the budget, right? So I'm working with contractors and kind of getting that information right now. But in terms of structurally, it's a structurally sound building. And really all we have to do is just come in and restore it. So, did I answer your question?
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
okay.
Any other questions? Mr. Jackson, you look like you had a question.
No, I looked at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Chairman, I have a comment. I took a drive by there the other day. It was not the easiest to get there, but actually pulled in. And I have driven down that road before it was torn up, and all those structures along there, or not all of them, but a number of them are not in the greatest shape, all the way down to the water. I mean, it's kind of an unusual roadway down there, and I'm excited for the concept of what you're talking about. I think it's going to start to, it's happening all over the city, and I'm excited for what you've got in your concept. So I'm in favor of it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman,
Zuloff?
I would like, if it's not too early, I'd like to make the motion that we approve the proposed amendment, subject, of course, to, as recommended by the staff, obtaining all the applicable permits.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? I would just make a comment, in any project like this, I think the key is management. If you go from a single family to a 6-family or a 4-family management. And you mentioned that you had the beauty shop next door?
I do. So I grew up on that block. My grandmother owned the beauty salon for 50 years.
Yeah.
And so we just remodeled that. So this is kind of part of our longer strategy to remodel the duplex as well.
So you've got some other interests down there, so.
I do.
Yeah, so you have a lot of interest, so I'm sure you'll take care of the management piece of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that where the Jones grew up?
Yeah, it is, actually.
Yeah, and Tommy McDonald and all those guys?
Tommy McDonald, that's my father.
Oh, okay.
So if you know him,
Yeah, I know those guys.
he's going to make sure that it's step up.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Zuloff?
just one comment.
Yes, sir.
I would like to say that it's evident that the applicant has done a bunch of homework, and I do appreciate the maybe somewhat speculative prospective plans, but I'm basing my decision on the code and that I do find that this rezoning is appropriate given the neighborhood. So I'm not basing anything on, basing any vote on the prospective plans, but rather that I believe that the rezoning is in the best interest of the people of Sandusky and of the neighborhood.
Thank you, Mr. Zuloff. Ms. Castillo, did you have anything?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I agree with what Mr. Zuloff said based on the zoning code. When I was reading the description, the north, south, and west were commercial service zoning. So I did read the staff comments that said it was mostly residential, so I too drove by, and it does look like a mostly residential space. So I think this project is in line with the zoning code and the comprehensive plan for Sandusky's future plan. So I'm in favor as well.
Well, if there's no other discussion, and usually during a public hearing, I would call for those in favor or those against to come up and speak, but since we don't have any members of the public, we'll just go ahead and, Ms. Rambo, would you call the vote?
Okay. Jade Castile,
Yes.
Jim Jackson,
Yes.
Pete McGorry,
Yes.
David Miller,
Yes.
Steve Pajali,
Yes.
Mike Zuloff.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Good luck. We'll look forward to seeing the site plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Good luck.
Wow, is that a record?
No.
Wow, fast
Is
we
there
decided.
any other business for the good of the order? All right. I
Mr.
guess-
Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Zuloff.
Unless somebody's in a big hurry here, we have had and discussed, updates from the chief planner, and in absence of a BCC meeting this morning, I wondered if there's anything of consequence to talk about so that we're not surprised later. And people are asking about the status of the Jackson Street parking lot project in particular. Could anyone share, is there anything that's possible to share with us on what's going on there?
I did also receive questions about the Jackson Street parking lot. I spoke to our director, Colleen Gilson, about that today, and she is going to worked to provide an update for us, but she did not provide an update for me. She's leading that project, so I don't have anything to share today.
I see, okay. And what about other projects like, people are asking about Battery Park too, And I know the city recently met with the developers at Battery Park. So is there any news that you're permitted to share about Battery Park?
I have
Mr.
not.
Zuloff, I think that project is to be determined, so stay tuned.
Well, it was a question for the staff, so.
I think Ms. Blair said you don't have anything else to share.
Yeah, through the chair, I've not been in any meetings about that project recently.
Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no other questions or discussion, we will stand adjourned.
All right.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Vice.
It was going to be like that.